Mm.
Okay, so today I've got Tracy Taylor with me, who Tracy did a program of mine more than a year ago now, I think, at the start of the pandemic. Yeah. And
Fun.
the time is flying, isn't it? And when she told me of her business idea, I was so excited. I absolutely loved it. I'm wearing Tracy's merch today, which we'll talk about as we go throughout the interview. But Tracy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's so good to have you. Like I said, I believe, and I'm sure the listeners will when they're watching this as well, you've got such an excellent business story from the perspective of giving it a crack and having a go, even though you're coming up against a bit of resistance. So your business is called CBDF Footwear, which I'm going to start the swearing and say this is the can't be fucked, right? So
Yes,
I love your story. Tell us a bit about how that launched.
Yeah, so it started off as a joke. So I used to go and see a PT. Every time I would rock up, she'd be trying to rev me up, you know. So,
Yeah.
oh, how you doing today? How are we going? And I'm like, oh, can't be fucked, but I'm here. So what are we doing? You know?
Yeah.
And it became a bit of a joke. She would sort of say, oh, you should write that on a t-shirt. You say it that often. And I was like, that's not a bad idea, actually. That'd be really funny. Imagine walking around, you know, having CBF on there when you're at the gym. And I thought, oh, CBF at the gym. I kind of like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So I told a few people the idea, and it became a bit of a joke, or it became like I got told it was a stupid idea and it'd never work, and you know, all that sort of stuff. So
nice to have a laugh, Trace, but not serious.
Yeah, come on, if you're gonna make that into a thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm like, okay, so I parked that, and yeah, so didn't forget about it, but it was just sort of one of those, you know, amazing ideas you have in the shower or wherever that doesn't really happen. And then I had a couple of years ago, I had a bit of a relationship breakdown. So an 8-year relationship ended, and I was lost. I felt like I'd lost everything. So I felt like there was something more I needed. I was still working full time. I still had a job and I still have family, but there still felt there was something missing.
Love that. There's something more. I think that's what so many women feel. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd been, you know, throwing a few ideas around with friends and stuff like that about what I really wanted to do, and you know, and quit the 9 to 5 as we all like to think we can do.
Yeah.
And I went to an entrepreneur course, so just a day thing, just to see what it was, and it really inspired me, and it got me thinking. And one of the things that he said just triggered the idea of the CBF again, and I thought, and I started to see the pieces of the actual steps of how I could start that. So I just thought, you know, what's stopping me? There didn't seem to be anything else at that time that was really. I didn't have that those negative people in my life at that time telling me that I couldn't do it. So and I had a few people that were telling me it was a good idea. So it was just that catalyst. I thought, well, yeah, I've just got to give it a go. And then 4 weeks later, we're in lockdown.
Oh, you're joking. I didn't realize it was that new when we were working together. Like, because it was just, by the time I got to speak to you, you had such a solid idea. It was such a solid thing. I didn't realize it was just so brand new.
Yeah. So, and I'm one of those people that just sort of just get on with it and worry about the how later.
Love it. Total entrepreneur. Like, whatever, let's just do it.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, we can do this. How, but I'm going to do it anyway.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. I love it.
That's what I've done. So I
love it.
Yeah, and we're at nearly 4,000 followers now on Instagram. Go check it out. Thank you very much.
And what's the tag on Instagram? CBF.
It's CBF clothing, because I'm looking to extend it out of not just footwear, but to sleepwear and underwear and casual clothing.
Oh, phenomenal. I love it. Oh my God, I can see the underwear. Stop it. Let's go. All right, so let's stay on course. Stay on track, Nicky. See, entrepreneur mind. Okay, so you launched it. You've launched it as a fitness brand. Now, what I loved about it was it's not saying I can't be fucked, so don't do anything. It's saying you can't be fucked. Oh well, let's do something anyway. And it's also very strongly in the space of loving who you are, loving the skin you're in. Like you said, the journey that you went through, going through that breakup, which is massive. I think that is a massive time of reflection when we start to go, well, fuck, well, who am I outside of this relationship? And that can be a combination of your whole life of dating and being in relationships, really. At what point do we stop and go, well, hold up a minute, who am I? Yeah. And then I was saying on another interview the other day that there can be a little bit in the body positivity, there can be a bit of gym shaming or movement shaming, I call it. And in the gym culture, it's a bit of, body positivity shaming, but yours seems to be a beautiful blend of doing both. Like, you know what, I'm having a shit day today, fuck it, we're not gonna, I'm not gonna go out there and pretend that life's great, but I'm just gonna move a little bit for the psychological health. Is that on point?
Yeah, I just sort of, I feel like it takes the pressure off a bit. Yeah. There is that, because all like the major brands are all like, go harder, go faster, go stronger, do this, do that. You need to go to the gym, you need to work out, you need to lift weights, you need to go do cardio, you need to do, and I'm just like, do whatever. Like that's all the bit that makes you CBF. And I'm not saying that it's not that we can't be fucked doing anything. It's about caring about the right things and focusing on the health, your physical health, your mental health, and not worrying about the six-pack abs and the perfect booty and all the other stuff, which is just fluff. That's all the stuff that we're told we should aspire to and we should achieve, and what the appearance or the aesthetic of a health and fit body looks like. But that's not necessarily the case. I mean, I can probably, I'm not exactly the perfect size 10, but I'm probably fitter than a lot of the skinnier people out there, so it's just a matter of what suits you and finding your own fit is the way I label it in the moment.
Praise it. Oh, I love it. And it's so true. I saw an Instagram post the other week where a girl put on herself, and she was very like model thin, and she wrote like on the tag, she sort of wrote, I was depressed and I couldn't sleep and I couldn't eat. And then she put herself on, she was probably like a 12 to 14, like a normal body. And then she was like, I'm happy and I eat, and you know what I mean? And I just think that move to it being more of an internal game than an external look. And you're right, the big brands there's a very strong cultural push toward the masculine work harder, push harder. And I think that this is what women are waking up to now. Like, actually, maybe that works for the masculine energy, but doesn't work for the feminine energy. And we have both, and we need to nurture both of those sides of us. So, I think that your brand represents a little bit of the rebel.
Yes.
Which I love. Like, fuck it, I'm not doing it your way, I'll do it my way, thanks. Which is a whole bunch, this is why we've connected, because we have that same kind of like, I want to do it my way. But inspiring other women to be that rebel as well, Chase. Is that right for you?
Yeah, exactly. Just because that's the way it's always been done doesn't mean that there isn't a better way to do it, or that something that might work better for you. So that's really what where the message is sitting for us at the moment.
Beautiful. So I want to talk a bit about two things, like the business aspect of it, and then we'll talk about where people can access your clothing, etc. So number one, so you had this business idea, you went to the entrepreneurial workshop, you launched it. I know that you've been working full time, you're a mother, you have your mother living with you as well, so you've got a lot of a full life, and you've built this business. So tell us about that, Jenny.
Well, in hindsight, the lockdowns and the the COVID stuff was kind of a little bit of a blessing in disguise for me. And I know it wasn't for everyone, but
of course,
I was very lucky that I was still able to work full time from home. But it also gave me that flexibility and that freedom a little bit to be able to work on the business, and it really sort of helped me focus on allowing me to grow as a person and focus on who I am. But it also, a lot of it just saved me. It gave me something to do whilst I'm in lockdown, and gave me something else to focus on.
I love that.
It was actually really important. And just being able to to go and find out how to go and do something, or how to do a bit of marketing, or how to go and, you know, design this and that. Those things just took you, you know, takes your mind off that day-to-day stuff that anyone else, you know. And
absolutely.
TikToks, I mean, who
Yes, you are good at the TikToks. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't even done one mouth syncing friggin' reel ever yet. So but it also brings an element of fun to it, Tracy. So, you know, yes, you have a job. Yes, you're supporting people. Yes, you're supporting yourself, right? There's a lot of responsibility that we carry as women in that space. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so going and doing this, yep, it comes from a place of, you know, a fun idea, also a place of passion. You've put a lot of hard work into it, but you've also put a lot of fun energy into it. And I think that's the piece that is going to save people when they're in that sort of, you know, there's something more here. I'm feeling frustrated. I feel like I'm bored with my job or whatever. It's like, you know, so because I think a lot of the time there's a fear around entrepreneurialism, because it's like, you know, just quit your job and go for it. And that's really stressful. So I do love the whole transition of doing it whilst you're still maintaining that support and that survival need, I suppose. Yeah. And then going like, right, this gives me the opportunity to play over here, and bringing that element of lighthearted fun to it. How has that been for you?
I mean, there's definitely a financial aspect to being an entrepreneur. I mean, that's obviously what your main aim is, but I think a lot of it has just been that it's been a passion of mine that I've found something that I do have a voice on, and I do actually have a passion to share that with other people, and to share that experience, and to say that, you know, there is a different way to do something, and there is, you know, you don't have to be a certain way or look a certain way to achieve success. So
Yeah.
yeah, I get just as much of a kick out of the feedback I get, and the following I get, and the bits of fun and people enjoying my content than I do from, you know, from when the sales come in. So
Absolutely, I agree with you.
yeah.
Yeah, it's almost it's almost hand in hand, isn't it? Because I think if you just wanted to get into it to make money, you could do something like drop shipping, yeah. But this is more about making an impact, and the money is the result of that. Yeah, this is lovely. Money is a definite resource that we all need, and you wouldn't do it without it. But it comes with more than that, yeah. And that's the part that I think can inspire women or can hold them back as well, you know, like, oh, am I allowed to, you know, and the fact that you've grown this the way that you have in just a couple of years, and I see you on Instagram all the time, you're getting collaborations, you've got partners coming in, you get people wearing the clothing, you know, give us a bit of a rundown about that. How do you reach out to people? They reach out to you? How's that all gone for you?
Yeah, and I listened to one of your other conversations yesterday about this very thing, about having coaches, making sure you have coaches and making sure you have support. And yeah, absolutely, that is vital. Definitely. I've got a very good friend support around me that encourages me rather than and that is so important, that they understand your goals and your boundaries, and that they respect those. So I've certainly found that that's really important. And yeah, she's my number one fan, so she's definitely
beautiful. Yeah, you got to have the tribe around you that thinks like it's possible for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's been really important, and one of the key aspects, but also having a coach. So I mean, I know we work together, and I've worked with another couple of people on the way that have, you know, different focuses, but it's been really important because it keeps you accountable, and it keeps you motivated as well, because we always have those days when we think that, you know, that it's all too hard, or that it's, you know, getting difficult and it's getting scary because you know, you were hoping that you'd get more sales than you would, and the bills to keep coming in, but you know, so there's those times when you think, geez, is it all worth it? And, you know, am I going to get through this month or whatever? But those sort of people, the coaches and having that cheer squad around you really helps to sort of keep you focused and stop you from quitting, because there's
going down the spiral. Yeah. Well, I even think it's not even just keep you focused, it's kind of keep you on reality, because I think our brains can be really nasty and take us down these stories and these paths of, like, you know, of withdrawing. And of course that's the case because our brain is designed to keep us safe, and safety looks like being small and behind a closed door. Yeah. And you're there putting yourself out. So to have someone reflecting it back at you, I always find too, having a coach, they just can see it from a different perspective than what you can see it from. And both of those things that you've mentioned, Trey, so the friend who's got your back, man, that's a big one, isn't it? You know, the friend who's like cheering you on. But then sometimes the coach is not the friend cheering you on. She's the one going, you're a dickhead, stop that. You know, have you noticed this pattern? Let's change that. Yeah. So both of those things are
Don't get me wrong,
important.
the friend says that sometimes too. So.
Yeah. That's a good friend. Absolutely. And so you've got all your fitwear out there. So let's talk a little bit then about oh gosh, I do this thing, Tracy, you may have noticed it me, like I have thoughts come into my head. There's 10 thoughts in one mouth and I can't get it all out at once. Yeah. I want to say, how have you connected with people for the collaborations, the people who are wearing your brands, or is that just people who are buying your brand and you've encouraged them to promote it by putting it on socials?
No, there's a bit of a mix. So I usually look at what I am missing. So one of the key collaborations for me was having the plus size. I was really struggling with supplies because, again, like we talked about, you know, that the activewear industry is very much focused on that small section. So
yes,
the majority of the products were all extra small to extra large. And it's like, well, what about the rest of us, you know?
Yeah.
So I was finding that and I didn't have the money to really invest heavily in larger quantities. So I needed a kind of a shortcut, I guess, or a way of trying to still be able to have that message of inclusivity and body positivity without having to invest heavily in a product. So the collaboration's been a great way to do that. We've been able to support each other and share in products and stuff like that to be able to do the collaboration. And
amazing.
Some of the other ones, the collaborations were more just about supporting small business. So I've got the mugs and cups that are a collaboration with other small businesses that do a few things, and it's just about helping them get their brand out there, or you know, having just that extra item in there that we can put in there, but it also helps support some local small businesses as well.
I love it. And so on that point, because, you know, I spoke about this at the start of the year when I did a keynote speech. I was saying, you know, there's that saying, if you want to go far, go together. If you want to go fast, go alone. And I was always like the go alone person. So until it was like, you can't do it alone anymore. Yeah. And I think that's a big one. And because as entrepreneurs, we do have that bit of a rebel spirit where we're like, no, I'm doing it my way. You know, and so looking at collaborations, tell me some of the considerations that you had to take into account when you were collaborating with people. Because I imagine like me, you get lots of people reaching out to you saying, hey, you know, can you promote my stuff, or can you share this, or can you share that? And it's like, how do you discern who you want to work with? I think that's an important one for people who are watching.
I wait for, well, I literally have sticky notes everywhere, right? And,
I love it.
And I have these things to remind me, and I've just ripped it off there, but anyway. But these are the key things that I remind myself to look for, and that's listen to my gut and wait for a sign. Amazing. and tell people what they're thinking. And those are the three things I think that make for a good collaboration, is to tell people how you see or envision the collaboration to go, and to hear them out as well, and how they want it to run. And then you just get a feel for it. And if you click, you click. And if you've got the same message, then that's where it really works out.
Oh, that is such a good answer, because that's a lot of what we're talking about in this interview series as well, is tapping back into that gut instinct and what we're learning about our powers as witchy women, and how our you know, sacral energy and our gut energy is telling us the way, and how we sometimes can ignore that for the sake of facts. And it's like, nah, go with the instinct, even if everything looks good and the instinct is like, nah. And Like for me, I just take a couple of days, and if my body doesn't shift on
Yeah.
it, it's just a no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. That's
You'd be
excellent
amazed
advice.
how many people, like how many things just come up. So I'll think about, oh, you know, I might need, you know, I need like a coordinator, or I need something. And then you'll be scrolling through socials, or you'll suddenly do something and you'll see it'll just come up. Or someone will contact me and go, hey, I want, and I'm like, actually, yeah, I was just thinking about doing that last week.
Yeah,
so yeah, it's amazing.
So true.
And that is that waiting for a sign thing. I'll usually put it on like a to-do list, or a, you know, a thing that we can cut, and then usually it comes to me. So
yeah, beautiful. Kind of like you know, like Google Home listening to you and presenting it to you. I just want to stop there and make a point for people that are watching. So there's a lot of people that are like, but how, right? How do I manifest? How do I get in the energy? What Tracy just described is exactly what that process is. And the only thing that stands in your way of doing that is when you are thinking how instead of being in that why. But also when you're impatient for it. So like you said, you go, right, I'm ready to do this. I've popped it, even writing it down, puts it out there into the world. Yeah. And then letting it come to you. That's a really strong piece of the puzzle, which is, I think sometimes the more we hunt, the faster things run away.
Absolutely.
Been a big one for me. I'm like, go get it.
Definitely.
Beautiful. All right. So, so now, like I said, you've got a really, I believe, a really well-established brand now. I'm loving it. It's picking up traction. I believe it's going to be massive because so many people can relate to your message of that feeling of like, you know, well, I can't be fucked, but I'm here anyway, or I'm doing something anyway. And also the message of I don't have to play by the rules anymore, which I think is just such a turning point for our society at the moment, you know, for women in particular. So tell us, where people can find you. I know I've just gone and had a quick look at your website, and the story on there is phenomenal. If you ever want inspiration for your business journey, go and read Tracy's story. It's phenomenal. I'm like, man, you guys have got kahunas. I love it.
Story about how a stubborn bitch just doesn't get stuff done anyway. I've actually got a new t-shirt come out called Dare Me, I Dare You. And that's probably come from that story, because it seems to be that the thing that drives me the most is someone telling me I can't do something. So
that is so interesting. That's just so funny. And like I said, I think I've got a bit of that too. And that's why we connect. And, you know, a lot of my clients come that way with that energy, because it's like, yeah, watch me, bitch. Like, you know, and it's almost like if you know that about yourself too, then look for that in your coaches as well, you know. So I know for myself, I've gone and worked with other coaches who are maybe a little bit softer, that has a purpose, but it's like I need something to push against.
Yeah.
You know, like I need to be fighting for a purpose or fighting against something. So if that's something that you guys who are watching can resonate with, you know, you've got two women in front of you here, two gorgeous women, who are saying like, this is what we know about ourselves. This is how we work. So you can make choices around that. Yeah. So to be having that sort of fire in your belly and that passion. Amazing. So, and you just release stuff as it comes to you. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I've got a new range coming out, or rather a refresh of the basic range. So the CBF at the gym and CBF running and all that sort of stuff. We're having a bit of a refresh of that, and then we just I do a few limited editions, or I'll just mix up the collection every now and again. So keeps people on their toes and keeps people checking in to see what we're up to,
what's happening. Yeah, exactly. And again, it's that beauty behind not having the mainstream stuff, having, you know, the small businessy types. I love buying from small businesses because it's much more unique. Yeah. Excuse me. I had a question. Anyone watching this whole series will see me do this every interview. Oh my God, I had a question and it's gone because I talk too much. No, that's my question. Do you work with a graphic designer as well, or are you doing these yourself?
I do it myself.
You're a legend. I love it.
Right. What are you talking about?
I know. And I believe that too. But I wanted to put that out there because, again, I really want the tone of this message in this interview, Tracy, to be have a fucking go, right? Because that's what you've done and look what you've created. You know what I mean? And you didn't need everything to be perfect. You didn't need the website to be perfect. Really, I think the only thing you needed to be on point was the ability to buy online for your client.
Yep.
And everything else you've kind of muddled your way through, found a way to do it. You know, you haven't had to invest $50,000 to get started. You've just gone, you know what, this is me, this is how I'm going to show up, this is my passion, and this is what's worked. And I just love that.
Absolutely.
So where can people find you? Where can they buy your stuff? Because when they hear this and connect with the message, they want to be wearing it. Mine says Rare Species. This is my favorite one. I'm like, yes, I am, bitch.
This is mine. I wrote this at the start of the year as my focus for the year, to be a game changer, because I think that reflects well with the business. So that's why I'm always wearing this one.
And I think, again, this is the kind of thing that, like, you've been the central hub, you've created the brand, you've created the message, but then all of us that are wearing it can go out and perpetuate the message. The more women that can get eyes on this, you know, do it your way. Yep, you know, you're not too much. You are a game changer. You get to be who you are. That's how we change a world.
Yep, absolutely.
Oof, that was deep.
So yeah, so we're on cbfootwear.com.au, and CB Footwear is on Facebook as well. And then it's CBF Clothing Brand on Insta and Twitter and TikTok too.
I've got to go see Tracy's TikToks. I know.
Find me, you'll never get rid of me.
You never get rid of me. And I want to just make a point. It's CB Footwear, because I always get confused with CBFF, like Footwear, but it's just CB Footwear.
But that's why I'm sort of branching out to CBF Clothing, because I think that sits a bit better as well.
Creates an easier roll off the tongue kind of. Yeah, beautiful. I love that too. And then again, it really gives you some expansion as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. Well, so for everybody watching, like I said, I really want you, like, connect with Tracy, tap in with her, not just because she's got a fabulous product. These are actually really good quality products. But because her message and the way that she's just gone and had to go, that is just so much of what I think holds women back. I went to a some kind of morning tea that was about women in business, but it was held through the council, which is always a little bit more mainstream and corporate-y, you know. But yeah, like, seriously, 90% of women in that room had a good idea and just were too scared to just execute it. And that's, I think, you know, like I said, from your journey, from your story, Trace, from, you know, and you haven't gone through this journey without any trials or tribulations, without life happening around you, because we all have that, but you just have had to go, had to crack, and look where you are. It's phenomenal. I'm so excited for you, honey.
Thank you so much. And
You're so welcome. And is there anything else you want to add? I feel like I'm waffling on now.
No, I think that's it. Can't think of anything else. Just
and if anybody came to you, or if anybody was like, you know, I want to get the questions that they would ask, like, oh, but how'd you do it? That's not a question I want you to answer, because that's when they're in the wrong mindset. But you know, I guess if people are sitting on the fence, what's one piece of advice you'd give them?
Yeah, just do it. And hang on, somebody else has got that.
That's a competing finish. No, just have a crack.
Just give it a go. Just give it a go.
Yeah. Because, like I said, the way that you've done it, you did kind of dip your toe in. It wasn't a huge jumping off a cliff feeling. It was like, let's take a step toward this and see how it goes. Let's take another step. Yeah. So definitely that first step's the most important.
Yeah. And everything's, and the bit about stepping outside your comfort zone as well. Yeah. That's where the magic happens. And that's and I know it sounds cheesy, but that is definitely what happens.
Absolutely. And you know what, it's cliche and cheesy for a reason, because it's true. I always say that. I talk in so many fucking cliches, and I'm like, oh my god, could I phrase it a different way? I just can't. Like, that's how it is. So on that, I wanted to say too, like, you putting your face out there, you doing the silly TikToks, you getting on screen and doing all the videos and talking and stuff like that. That's a big part of why your business is successful, because people want to connect with you. They want to connect with you and your message.
That was a big learning for me, though, because I did think that I could hide behind the logo and hide behind the brand, and you just can't. And that was one of the things that I learned pretty early, luckily, was that it's the content that has me in it, you know, either being silly or just, you know, in the clothing or whatever it might be. It's those are the posts of the content that people relate to. So I can put as many models in my clothing as I want in there, but it's the content with me in there that are the ones that resonate, because I'm the one with the message. And
that's right. And you're the one with the story, and we want to know the owner and the person, and that's the difference. That's how business has shifted, hasn't it? And I think unless you are someone like Nike or Apple that have got fucking millions of dollars behind your marketing, it has to be you. People want to connect with you, and that's better for you too. You know, like you are connecting, you're seeing the impact of your message then, even though it's really scary, even though it's really challenging.
Absolutely.
It is,
But I have people now saying, oh, you know, how are you so good at your lives, or how are you so natural in your lives, or how are you, you know, how do you do those TikToks? And I'm like, you know,
I just do them.
I just have to, you know. I feel stupid sometimes talking to people, you know, talking to my phone, and people are walking past, but you get over it eventually. So
absolutely.
it gets easier when you do it.
And that's a big one, because people will will come and ask you that. People will say it to me too, oh, you're so natural on camera. I go, yeah, but it didn't start that way, you know. And we did an interview with Kelly Petering on that in this series as well. She teaches women about how to get on camera if they're feeling super nervous about it. But I think, again, be willing to feel like a dickhead, and that's good.
And if you act like a dickhead like me, you get more views, trust me.
People love it. Yeah, exactly. Amazing. All right, guys, so connect with Tracy, CB Footwear. Her website will be everywhere, but I think Instagram is probably the best place to get you. That's where most of your centralized content is. If you have any questions for her, pop them in the comments below underneath this recording. I will refer them to her or answer them myself if I can. But thank you so much for joining us, Tracy.
Thank you very much for having me.
So exciting to see you. I'm just going to press pause.